I thought this would be a good picture to show that is trying to throw sidearm here, releasing somewhere out in this direction. But the reason I wanted to show him is because it's a good way to show guys that although release slot is out here, so we can see the ball's there, arm is out here, so pretty much straight sidearm. From this direction here, if he was to maintain that trunk angle or that spine angle, his release would then actually be right there, which would be more like a submarine throw. What he ends up doing though is, as you can see, coming out in that direction, so his arm is above that blue line. Now, this being right here can cause deception because you're going to see a lot of guys where their trunk angle typically is more up in this direction when they rotate, and then they release more out in, this area up here. But for this athlete, he is going to come out of this angle, and then you'll see at release his spine angle now is actually right there. So is this good or is this bad? Well, let's look. If he's throwing with pain, that's not good. If he's throwing not hard enough for what he wants to be doing, then that's not good. If he's effective in his mind with this, then that is okay. The only thing I want to show or talk about is if he wants to release at this point, right here, instead of being right there with his torso angle or his spine angle, he could be right there. He is eventually going to get to that angle anyways, so he could start there and be more consistent. So if this guy had any struggle with consistency or throwing strikes, or maybe any hip issues, or maybe he wanted to get a little more velo, this could potentially do that if he just started more straight up and down with his leg lift earlier on in the delivery. So right here he's pretty straight up as far as, so if we look here, straight, and then when he releases, he's straight again. So if he just maintained that the whole time, it would be a lot less going on, but at the same time it's not as deceptive, so there's probably a good indication with him throwing down here that it just looks different to the hitter, so that he does get some deception there. And then also with the release out to the side, he might get more movement. You can see it kind of cuts back a little bit at the end. His head does disappear, but you get a little bit more side-to-side movement on the ball out there. If he's throwing a sidearm curveball, so to speak, it's going to move potentially across that way to his glove side. So there's a lot of good things from a deception standpoint that you can get from out here. But I thought it'd be a good thing to teach, to show guys that, hey, if you're going to release out here, or if you're going to try and go down 3/4, just moving the trunk angle can help you, can add deception, can make things more inefficient, more efficient. There's just a number of things that can happen out of these different arm slots, or excuse me, these trunk angles, so the spine angle there. He does do a good job, as you will see in this. So if we look, he's got equal parts knee forward, hips back, so he's into his back foot pretty efficiently. So we look back there at his back foot, and his foot rolls straight toward the target. You'll see the sole come up, and there's a little bit of toe action, but that's super normal. That's what's going to happen. Then as his knee rotates down, comes off. So that's a pretty normal back leg right there. Whether or not he's able to rotate out of it, sometimes depending on the strength of the athlete, wherever the hips are oriented, if he doesn't come up here with his pelvis, straighten up, it's harder to rotate. So guys really need to use a lot more of their strength with their upper body, the middle of their body, their lower body, to overcome what might not be as easy to do with rotation. But you're going to see some high-level athletes that rotate really well, really fast from this direction. They're able to do this. They're pretty strong and they throw pretty hard. So again, that's just to kind of drive home the point on that you can throw from a low arm slot. You can throw from being bent over more earlier on in delivery, like this athlete is. But in order to throw at a really high level, low, mid 90s, even upper 90s, there's probably going to have to be a ton of added strength. So a youth athlete would work to either tweak their mechanics to make it a little more efficient or easy, and or add strength so that they can throw at a higher velocity and higher level.